What would you do if the people you trusted most turned your moment of triumph into a trap? For me, that question wasn't hypothetical, it was the reality I faced on the night of my promotion party. My name is Elena Harper, and after years of grinding through late nights and impossible deadlines, I'd finally earned the title of Senior Director at Vantage Corporation. The celebration was supposed to be my victory lap, a glittering evening of champagne and congratulations. Instead, it became a battlefield, and I was about to learn who my real allies were. The party was held in the penthouse suite of Vantage's downtown headquarters, all glass walls and city lights. Colleagues mingled, their laughter echoing off the marble floors. I stood near the bar, my navy dress catching the glow of chandeliers, accepting toast from people I'd worked with for a decade. My boss, Richard, raised a glass, his smile wide, but his eyes cold. To Elena, he said, our new senior director, who's proven she's ready for the big leagues. The crowd clapped, but I noticed a few sidelong glances, whispers behind wine glasses. Something fell off, like a storm brewing beneath the surface. As the night wore on, Richard pulled me aside. Elena, there's someone you should meet, he said, guiding me toward a man in a crisp suit, his briefcase a silent warning. This is Mr. Grayson, our corporate counsel. My stomach dropped. Why was a lawyer at my promotion party? Grayson's handshake was firm, his expression unreadable. Congratulations, Ms. Harper, he said, but his tone carried no warmth. Richard gestured to a private room off the main suite, and I followed, my heels clicking like a countdown. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Richard sat across from me, Grayson at his side, a stack of documents between them. Elena, Richard began, his voice smooth as silk, we've uncovered some discrepancies in your department's financials. Significant ones. My heart pounded. Discrepancies? I'd overseen every budget, every report with meticulous care. We're talking about misallocated funds, Grayson added, sliding a contract toward me. Sign this non-disclosure agreement, and we can discuss how to handle this quietly. Refuse, and we'll have to escalate. I stared at the paper, my mind racing. This wasn't a discussion, it was an ambush. The promotion, the party, it was all a setup to corner me. They wanted me to take the fall for something I hadn't done. My eyes flicked to Richard, searching for the mentor I'd trusted, but his face was a mask of calculated calm. Why are you doing this? I asked, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. Richard leaned back. It's just business, Elena. Someone has to answer for this. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. I could sign and save my reputation, maybe my job, but I'd be admitting to a lie. Or I could fight, risk everything, and expose the truth. That's when I noticed her Lila, my assistant, hovering near the door. She'd been with me for 2 years, quiet but fiercely loyal. Her eyes met mine, and in them I saw something unexpected, defiance. She gave a subtle nod, as if she knew something I didn't. That tiny gesture lit a spark in me. I wasn't alone. Lila, I said, keeping my voice calm, could you grab my tablet from my bag? She nodded and slipped out. Richard frowned, but Grayson waved it off, impatient. I leaned forward, stalling. Before I sign anything, I want specifics. What discrepancies? Grayson rattled off vague accusations, unreported expenses, diverted funds, but the details were thin, almost rehearsed. I knew then this was a frame job, and they'd underestimated me. Lila returned, handed me the tablet. Her fingers brushed mine, and I felt the edge of a folded note. My pulse quickened, but I kept my face neutral. Thank you, I said, unlocking the tablet while slipping the note into my palm. As Richard droned on about corporate responsibility, I unfolded the note under the table. In Lila's neat handwriting were 3 words. Check your email. I opened my inbox, my heart thudding. There was a message from Lila, sent minutes ago, with an attachment labeled Vantage Audit Trail. I glanced at her. She was watching Richard, her expression unreadable. I opened the file, and my breath caught. It was a detailed log of financial transactions, time-stamped and signed by Richard himself. Funds rerouted to offshore accounts, hidden under my department's name. He'd been siphoning money for months, using my access codes to cover his tracks. The twist hit me like a wave. Lila, the assistant I'd underestimated as shy and unassuming, had been tracking Richard's moves. She'd hacked into the system, pieced together his scheme, and waited for the right moment to hand me the evidence. I looked at her, gratitude and awe swelling in my chest. She wasn't just my assistant, she was my lifeline. I closed the tablet and stood, the contract untouched. "Richard," I said, my voice cutting through the room, "you forgot one thing about me. I don't break under pressure." His smile faltered. "What are you talking about?" he asked. I held up the tablet. "I have proof you've been stealing from the company and pinning it on me. Every transaction, every signature right here." Grayson's face paled. Richard laughed, but it was hollow. "You're bluffing," he said. "Am I?" I opened the file, projecting it onto the room screen. The numbers glared, undeniable. The room fell silent, the weight of truth crushing their plan. "I'm not signing anything," I said. "And I'm not taking the fall. You want to escalate? Let's do it. I'll take this to the board, the press, anyone who'll listen." Richard's jaw tightened, but he had no cards left. Grayson gathered his papers, muttering about misunderstandings, but I wasn't done. I turned to the door, where Lila stood, her eyes shining with quiet pride. "One more thing," I said, facing Richard. "You thought you could bury me, but you forgot I spent years building this company with my own hands. I know its secrets, its strengths, and its people. And I'm not alone." I nodded to Lila, who stepped forward, her voice steady. "I've already sent copies of the audit trail to the board," she said. "They're waiting for your explanation, Richard." The room seemed to hold its breath. Richard's face crumpled, his confidence shattered. Grayson excused himself, practically fleeing. I walked out, Lila at my side, the party still buzzing beyond the glass doors. The crowd parted as we re-entered, sensing the shift in the air. I didn't need their applause anymore. I'd won something bigger me integrity, my truth, and an ally I'd never forget. As we left the penthouse, the city lights stretching out below, Lila spoke softly. "I saw what he was doing months ago," she said. "I just needed you to trust me." I stopped, turning to her. "Lila, you didn't just save me tonight. You reminded me who I am." She smiled, a rare, radiant thing. "You're Elena Harper," she said, "and you don't back down." That night, I didn't just keep my promotion, I earned it all over again. Richard resigned within days, his scheme unraveling under scrutiny. The board offered me his position, but I declined. I wanted to rebuild, not replace. Lila became my deputy, her quiet brilliance no longer overlooked. Together, we turned Vantage into something better, something honest. Looking back, I think about that question. What would you do if your triumph became a trap? I found my answer not in fighting alone, but in trusting the unexpected allies who stand with you. Sometimes, the one thing they never see coming is the strength you carry and the people who carry it with you.